on teaming. So teaming is creation of new or updating existing centers of excellence, in which case we speak of DIHs or digital innovation hubs, which are located in low research and innovation performing member states, also associated countries to EU, which North Macedonia is, through teaming with internationally leading institutes in Europe or mature DIHs, as I will explain you later. I was mentioning this term DIH quite a bit. It's quite a fuzzy term, and I do believe that not all of you may know this term. So just as for a precaution, I would like to briefly cover what it means. So that's an organization which makes a network, which in all is a one-stop shop for local companies and even public sector to come with their challenges, with their ideas and plans if they want to work on digitalization of their products or services, and in one bulk receive all the needed support. And this support comes in soft and hard measures. So regarding hard measures, those clients, so to say, may receive infrastructure, expertise, some researchers, just to come in to make feasibility studies, to prototype, to work on some product, something, let's say, tangible. On the soft end, DH is expected to have a broader network, maybe even international network. And in case of lack of local capacity, they should leverage their ecosystem network and go and outreach to their foreign partners, and to find solutions to the challenges of the client. As well as they should be able to support in attracting or finding private or public investment or funding for the projects that the prospective clients are having. And of course, via skills and training, DH could increase literacy of digitalization within local clients. So that's the overall background in which I would like to present the BOWI project itself. So as I said, it's a project that's funded by European Union, so therefore facilitator is a coordinator. So we taking care that everything is happening smoothly. Also have funding box, which is a partner responsible for open calls and for community building. But of course, the most important partners are the hubs, are the digital innovation hubs. So we have a batch of mature hubs. So these are TNO and DTP. These are respectively Dutch and Finnish national research organizations, which are supporting research and development for both, academia and especially for local industries. And we have a honorable partner from Germany, Aachen University, which is prominent in digital technologies. And as per teaming approach, those mature hubs are being paired with proto hubs, in which we are collaborating. I will describe our collaboration in more detail in the next slide, but just to present you geographic focus. We have proto hubs coming from Poland, from Czech Republic, Latvia, Romania, Bulgaria, and Norway. And we have many more those hubs to join the project. And here's quite a fuzzy scheme that is quite simple, which shortly introduces the intervention logic of BOWI project. So when we have this emerging DH in widening countries, most likely somewhere in Eastern or Central Europe, if they join BOWI project, of course we got some funding and expertise to execute technology transfer experiments, where we select SMEs which want to execute those projects, which want to get funding for that, get expertise, get infrastructure, and really enhance their businesses. And during this process, we have those mature DHs joining it and supporting both the local DH and the SME with their infrastructure and expertise to yield the best possible result. And those experiments are used as a vehicle to improve a DH sustainability, meaning that this emerging DH should become able to increase its expertise, increase its quality of work, so to say, and forge very close connections with mature hubs abroad. So all in all, over time, it can provide much higher level of quality. It should have a much wider network of partners, which can bring their own benefits and value for the clients by themselves. Of course, it's a two-way street for both groups of DIHs or hubs to go for new markets. And with this positive impact on both SMEs and even the regional economies, we're aiming to improve sustainability, being, finding for more sources of funding and more leverage to have those networks effective and vibrant for the future, which would cover beyond the funding period of BOWI project. And this scheme could be very simply concluded in these three objectives. So first, we are looking how to collaborate, how to support the collaboration between DIHs across Europe. We focus on digital technologies. So we bring in mature and proto hubs or emerging hubs. These are synonyms. And as a second objective, we're aiming to increase the local DIH capacity to support SMEs. So now we bring in expertise, we bring in network professionals, and even available infrastructure to local DIH to increase its value proposition to local companies. And at the end of the day, we're expecting that those increasingly more effective services would add up to local companies competitiveness to then scaling up, and as a positive externality for higher regional competitiveness. And coming into a bit greater details how we are delivering this project. So talking of target groups. So I think DIHs and SMEs and mid-caps are quite obvious from what I have said. Other target groups we're having are investment agencies and private investors. So now they can really expect to get some benefits from increased DIH services for the SMEs or companies they have supported with their own money by getting better services, much higher development of the businesses, and of course that would eventually lead to higher return of investment and sooner as well. And of course, development agencies and policymakers would benefit out of this network by having their regions growing faster economically and competitively. And activities how we are delivering this whole mix is caused by building up this sustainable DIH network, which would connect hubs from both mature and emerging ecosystems. And we are doing that through 3 open calls. So 2 open calls are focused on providing funding and expertise to SMEs to buy the services from hubs and receive services from both emerging and mature hubs. So that's a big value proposition for them. And one more open call is on selecting additional batch of mature and proto hubs. And of course, now we are trying to build this sustainable ecosystem because we don't want to have those actions being one-off. We want them, to sustain years into the future to really build stronger regions in widening countries. So a bit more practical look on how this widening being executed. So of course we're building connections in between DIHs. We are supporting those proto DIHs in widening countries to increase the quality of services, to increase the scope of services, and to increase the value they can provide for local SMEs and even public sector. And of course, we want them to then not only do this technical work and support work, but also to become strong players in the innovation ecosystem, not only by their services, also by their opinion leadership regarding the whole innovation public policy. And here's a map again with the BOWI logos. You can see where are the current BOWI project partners, and we're looking for some more partners in all of those countries which have these colors attached, so both in EU member states and in associated countries. And also that, as you see, that yellow country is an opportunity for North Macedonia to join BOWI project, have one of its DIHs in BOWI network receive close ties with mature hubs and bring opportunities for local SMEs. And looking quickly to those open calls and where North Macedonia can join the opportunities. So we are about to launch an open call for a new batch of DIHs. So so both mature and proto hubs from North Macedonia can apply to become a DIH from the region. We are looking for up to 9 DIHs, so the chances to get into the project are quite high. So if it's possible, I would really love to encourage local DIHs to consider this opportunity and try their best to join BOWI network. And that would, of course, in the second round of the experiments would benefit local SMEs significantly, because then there would be an open call for Macedonian companies to apply for funding for expertise provision from mature proto hubs for their digitalization efforts. Having a closer look to what benefits of joining the project are, so I have divided that into benefits for DIHs and benefits for SMEs. It's not confirmed yet. It's not confirmed yet by the European Commission, but these points are not, I believe, won't change. So that's quite precise, but they can't say that it's officially it. So for DIHs, if they are added to BOWI network, we can expect to receive funding up to 100,000 euros, so 20,000 euro for sustainability development, just to participate in the network and forge connections, both local and international, and strengthen and add efforts to strengthen that network. And additionally, 20,000 euros per each tech transfer experiment. So basically, we would give you funding to help you to provide excellent support to the SMEs, which would come to you, via the open call. On top of that, money aside, of course, that would enable you to approach a network of international experts from mature innovation ecosystems, also access to their facilities and infrastructure. I mean, both for experts and for infrastructure, it's not only mature hubs, it's all the hubs, because they all have their own strengths. So, you would have all those capabilities and all the support and mentorship opportunities at your hand. And of course, that's the mentoring program covers that. And if you care about the PR, of course, there's some media exposure as well. The companies, it's for SMEs, for local open calls, it's similar benefits, so 60,000 euros for the tech transfer experiment. So if a company wants to develop some solutions, improve some processes and whatnot, they can get 60,000 for both prototyping, staff costs, for all the costs they would need to cover in this development process. On top of that, there is a business and technical mentoring and support. So if you are looking at something to manufacture or provide and sell, for clients, you can really get some support on both ends when it comes to digital products. And of course, access to facilities and infrastructure, would help you to execute many of the tasks you would need in this experiment much quicker and in high quality. And last but not least, there would be some media exposure as well. And as I said, those open calls are not open yet, but they are about to be open. The next one is for DIHs, where currently I would believe North Macedonia would benefit the most if they should join the network to bring the value to the companies. We will announce about the open call next month for January latest. So you can write down the website address or just check with your phone the QR code and see both the website. And there's a section on open calls, and you can see when it opens. Also, you can sign up for a newsletter and get a quick update once open call is open. That's the end of my presentation. I will leave this page here. If somebody is curious to check the website and still didn't manage to write down the address. And if anyone has any comments or any questions, I would be more than happy to address them. Also, I can have a question to audience as well. Do we have any representative of DIH here, or some competence center? Not like you're not.
We are working with many of them, so we can forward this invitation afterwards. And the moment this call is open, and therefore would like to become the link of any technology, innovation, and startup related activities to the ecosystem, kind of a one-stop shop. So please share with us, and we already have in mind few, not just in Skopje, but in other part of the region, because we are working a lot on the regional development as well, kind of giving access to digitalization and accessibility for SMEs to get on that process.
Of course.
And maybe you can share some of the key outcomes from, let's say, from the Baltics of such a program, and maybe how it benefited on the side of growth and supporting SMEs and startups.
We still don't have tangible results because the project has started less than 1 year ago. Just recently, we have finished our first open call, and we are finalizing the selection of first batch of SMEs to receive support. I just can just share some internal dynamics, how we see the process from the DIHs, how eager we are to help those companies which are receiving the funding and the support. Our mature hubs are extremely engaged, and we're very curious and very excited about seeing descriptions of those projects, of those technologies and services they would like to develop. And they are assigning some high-level researchers and experts in those topics. And those SMEs, I believe, will be extremely lucky at the end of the day, receiving this very, very expensive set of services, virtually and still getting paid, because if you would go just out of the blue, to inquire for some services from VTT or from TNO or from Aachen, so it's Finland, Netherlands, Germany, it's already expensive ecosystems, and also those players, the global tier of players, the price would be extremely high for a regular SME just to go there and buy the services and buy the support. And here they are getting, it for free from highly excited teams. So that's, it's not yet happened, but at least at the first glance, the first signs are very promising, that those SMEs will benefit significantly out of this participation.
What is the typical type of SME that actually gets a support for this program? What type of service usually they require, so that we know how to target them?
There is no one template or one pattern how it goes. What I can still say that now in this batch, the most applicants were looking for artificial intelligence solution development. But of course, it's no means for success. It just happened that there was lots of that. We are still looking for more diverse projects anyways. When it comes to service provision, so first of all, it is the experts, some people who are coming in and helping with technical solution. I think that's the number one, because you wouldn't need infrastructure or facilities beyond high computing power to develop AI solutions.
And would that solutions be products that would be later on sold to the market as a standalone solution, or integrated part of the business? I'm looking for more to understand whether even startups can benefit in order to create products that later on will be offered on the market, or startups can be the service providers to the SMEs in the process of digitalization.
So in this case, most of the SMEs are developing products that we will sell or license. However, you can also apply for, say, your internal process enhancement, right? So if you're manufacturing something, maybe some robotic solutions or whatnot may benefit you. So you can apply, and in case of receiving funding and winning and receive all that expertise to implement to a level this new solution, which would likely increase your competitiveness.
Justinas, I have one question, and it is about one of the aspects of this BOWI solution. It's about development agency and policymakers. Although every country or region has specifics, and there is no such thing as copy-pasting of best practices, but can you share some of the best practices that you have noted in this area, especially policymaking area in the Baltics, that you see that can happen also on the Balkans?
I would say, especially in Lithuania, was the very big success story in designing smart transition strategy. And the inception phase, there was a approach called entrepreneurial discovery process. And this process's goal was to identify opportunities and potential of local ecosystem to develop certain, to work in certain fields of research to produce some products. Just long story short. So how it all went? So it was an extensive interviews, surveys, workshops, including entrepreneurs, researchers, policymakers, lobbyists, and other kinds of experts, to identify the priority groups where the public funding would be diverted to support their R&D activities. And we also expect from our DIHs, which are taking part in the BOWI project, to be very active, in having communication with the policymakers and providing recommendation in identifying which fields of R&D are posing high potential, and with additional public funding would bring the highest results. So that's quite a long and difficult story here to explain how it all goes and works, but I hope the explanation wasn't too fuzzy here.
No, it is okay. Thank you. I just want to understand how do you think that policy making can be done? Of course, you explained that there is engagement of the local partners, and probably that would be the key. But I wanted to understand how do you approach actually the policy making from a perspective of the project implementers?
Yeah, so now we had this one challenge because the pandemic has started, so we couldn't forge those connections as soon as we wanted. So it's in our plans. But for the first steps is, we want them to have them, following the whole process on how locally this project is happening. As we want, so we were making some online inception meetings where we included SMEs and even the public representatives to showcase the benefits of that networking and that collaboration development. So we want them slowly but steadily persuade that in 3 or 4 years, if they fund this initiative with public money at least for a bit, they can really benefit their own region. So answering your question, so first step which we're doing is just having them in the loop and presenting them the benefits and the activities that they would feel comfortable about what's going on. They will feel comfortable and convinced that it yields some benefit, and that at the end of the day, they can really, if you support, especially if you support, the impact on the region could be higher than the baseline. But as I said, BOWI is a bit of an experimental project. It's a new project. It's happening less than 1 year. Pandemic as well was a challenge. So we still don't have many answers, but we have a very strong team in the project, and they are looking, to us questions of sustainability. And of course, shortly, I guess, in half a year or in 1 year, we'll be able to share some results and showcase some best practices on how to involve public sector. It's just, a bit too early at this moment, unfortunately.
And who are your counterparts in terms of other international organizations, IGOs and other organizations? Like, for example, do you cooperate with OECD with their SME task force, or do you cooperate with some other institutions?
So first and foremost, we're working inside our consortium. So as coordinators, TNO looking at sustainability and VTT at the technical part. So now those key parts, make this project, let's say, wholesome. And then looking at the external partners, we are of course, in close connection with the European Commission, as they have funded the project, and we have to report them what we are doing, and then also they come back to us with lots of ideas and latest knowledge was what's going around to keep us in the loop and join other initiatives, and so see the latest developments and adjust with our approach to them. On top of that, we have this coordination and support action, which connects multiple projects funded by Horizon, which are working on digitalization of European industries. So we are all trying to also build synergies and exchange knowledge on how to achieve our goals, both on sustainability, on technology push, and so forth. So that's briefly, and the bottom line is all the collaborations are within European Union or Commission and funded actions and organizations. And we do not have any connections, at least for a moment, with any external parties as OECD.
Thank you.
Well, I guess if no more questions, so if you still figure out something you want to ask or learn, so I hope you remember my name. So just chat me up on LinkedIn, and hopefully I'll be able to provide answers or comments you are looking for. Also follow BOWI project because as I said, it's a new project and the pandemic wasn't very helpful. But in some time, of course, we'll be able to share some great insights, and we'll have very good answers to the questions ahead this afternoon.
Thank you very much, Justinas, and thank you, Startup Macedonia, for having this opportunity for us.
Thank you.